two. So, oh, actually, one. I think I'm live now. Hold on, setting up. Okay, done redirecting to Facebook. Okay,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, we are officially live here on Facebook. And guys, I am so excited today. Today I have the honor and the privilege to be able to talk to someone I believe has the wisdom of a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, a 50-year-old, like the way I see myself and other people. Very few lists, by the way. And I'm really, really excited to have him on. This is only, by the way, the 4th episode of my Soul Speak podcast that started with the whole COVID-19. And as you guys know, with the whole COVID-19 right now going on, there's an opportunity that is arising. If you guys are not taking advantage of this time frame, you need to be able to come out of COVID with something of an expert, right? You need to become an expert on something. And right now, for the last 3.5 weeks now, I've started my own podcast, and I had the privilege to have had 3 guests already in my the Soul Speaks podcast. And today, we are going to be discovering our 4th episode ever in our Soul Speak podcast. And man, let's get right on with it. But guys, today I had the privilege and the excitement to be able to bring up to you guys a 22-year-old gentleman right here from Sacramento, California, that I know for about the last 2 years. And this guy right here is only 22, but I've seen him hustle the last 2.5 years that I've known him. I've seen his stories. I've seen his growth. I've seen how much pattern has changed in his life. Man, and as I would like to call him, he has somewhat become and molded into a social media influencer with over 20,000 plus following in his Instagram. And I think that's an amazing feat for such a young age. But on top of that, as he is also an entrepreneur, he is also leading a team during COVID-19 to become much of a version of themselves, and really has been able to put himself in a position to influence many, many lives that he can touch. With that said, you guys, help me bring in Mr. Malachi Turner. What's up, bro?
Mr. Charles Cinco, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Bro, I'm excited to have you here. And to the audience that we have right now on the call, I know a lot of people right now are going to be watching this. Either if you're watching this live right now, if you're going to be watching this later on a pre-recorded version, thank you guys for just tuning in with us today. With that said, brother, man, how have you been?
Man, I've been amazing, man. Blessed and highly favored. I tell people every day above ground is a good day, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. And so, bro, like, tell me a little bit of like what's been going on with you with the last 3.5 months that COVID-19 and shelter in place has been going on. Like, how have you adjusted?
Oh man, get my hustle on. Do what we always do. You know, it's crazy. I saw something on social media the other day. It says if COVID-19 did not bring the hustler out of you, it never existed in the first place. And so, you know, obviously myself running an online business, having an online presence, I'm somebody who was not, thank God, too much affected by the shelter in place. You know, I have a business that, and I believe nowadays in the 21st century, it's all about click and order as opposed to brick and mortar. So just been working, man, grinding, hustling, impacting people.
That's awesome, bro. And tell me a little bit like about who you are, and for the audience that are seeing you and hearing you for the first time. I know you have a lot of following, but for the new people that doesn't have an idea who you are, tell us a little bit about how old you are, who you are, what made you an entrepreneur.
1000%, man. So my story is really, really simple. Without being long-winded, my name is Malachi J. Turner. I got started in business like 4.5 years ago. January of 2016. And the reason why is because I wanted freedom. You know, I wanted the ability to live life on my terms, not the terms of a boss. I did not want to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of my life, trying to retire on 40% of what I was barely making it on in the first place, right? I wanted the chance to travel when I wanted to travel, to give when it was on my heart to give. I just didn't know how I was going to do that. I probably would have told you back then it was going to be running fast and catching footballs. That didn't necessarily work out, right? So I end up working in, trying to get started in different businesses, man. I went from company to company, from platform to platform, buying all these courses you can think of, going to events. And I was working, but Charles, the business wasn't working for me. So I finally got to a point in my life, is just over 1.5 years ago, about getting close to 2 years ago. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, it's funny. I think a lot of us call ourselves entrepreneurs, but when we're just getting started, let's be real, there's a difference between entrepreneurship and unemployment. I was unemployed. You see what I'm saying? I had a hobby at the end of the day, but my friend of mine, who is also from Sacramento, California, he says, "Hey man, you've got what it takes, but you've got to put yourself in the right vehicle to have success. You know, we're all working hard. We work hard at the grocery store. We work hard bussing tables. We work hard at the construction site. If it was all about hard work, well, guess what? Construction workers probably be some of the highest paid earners. They're not. So anyways, man, I switched the vehicle up. I got involved with the right plan with the right people at the right time. And all of a sudden I went from a place of being absolutely broke. All I had was really $35 overdraft fees and credit card debt to still at the beginning of my journey, man. But now I'm blessed to say whenever I have to work a job another day again in my life, travel when I want to travel, wake up when I'm done sleeping.
Wow. So it seems like from what I heard, you were bound to be, or you wanted to be a sports type of guy with football, but then did you ever had a job? Like, did you ever employ yourself in a job setting? And then where did the shift moment shifted for you to become an entrepreneur? I know you said you wanted freedom, but was there a specific moment where this kind of shifted for you?
I don't know about, I'll tell you this much. It wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be a professional athlete, because that's not the truth. I didn't have necessarily, I love what I was doing as far as the game. I was a football player. I also ran track. I love those sports, but it was more so about a means to an end. It was more so being able to give when it was on my heart to give, to be able to do what I wanted, when I wanted, with who I wanted. And so even if that wasn't going pro, I at least wanted to get a great scholarship to a Division I school to get a great education, to do what they always told me to do, which was get a good job, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden I got all these good benefits. So it wasn't necessarily sports, but a friend of mine, he sits me down at the Starbucks my senior year of high school. He's like, "Look, man, you have what it takes to win. You might want to consider being an entrepreneur." And Charles, at this time, I'm thinking you got to be Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, right? You got to come up with a microchip or something like that. But he says, "No, man, there are vehicles already in place where you can actually flex that entrepreneurial muscle without having to necessarily invent something." And so for me, man, it just made sense. It's like YOLO, right? You only got one life. See what I'm saying? You only live once. So you might as well make the best of it. And I guess if you had to come up with a defining moment, it would have been that day at Starbucks, January of 2016.
Wow, you remember the exact month, huh? You remember exactly the same month that changed your life, right?
I
mean,
just
like
released the
every
video on
entrepreneur
it.
will remember that for sure. And so you said this was 4 years ago, right?
What is it? 2020, it was middle of 2020, about 4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago, bro. And 4.5 years ago, you're 22 today, so about 17, 18 years old. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you never had a job?
Oh yeah. To your question, sometimes I get carried away. I
No, you're
worked
good.
tons of jobs, man. At one point, my first job was working at Wendy's, right? So I was flipping burgers. You see what I'm saying? I was
Right.
16 years old when I started at Wendy's. From there, I believe I went to Champ Sports. So I've done fast food, I've done retail, selling shoes in the mall, stuff like that. From Champ Sports, I went and I was bussing tables at Ruth's Chris, right? Not a bad restaurant, still bussing tables,
Yeah,
okay?
it is.
But
Right.
I was at Ruth's Chris, and then from Ruth's Chris, I stopped working a job because I was like, look, I hate this 9 to 5 stuff. I'm not working for nobody else no more. But I got into a really, really bad financial situation doing that.
Uh-huh.
So in order to support my business, the last job I had before I went full time forever and never will go back was working overnight at the 24-hour fitness gym.
Oh, wow. So you work at 24 Fitness in Roseville? Is that where you worked at?
I was at the one in Sacramento. Yeah,
Oh,
I was
okay,
at the one
gotcha.
in Sacramento. Yep. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, that's crazy, bro. And like, talk to me because you're a millennial like myself, right? It's talk to me about kind of like
Gen
moving
Z.
into, huh?
Gen Z, I think we're younger than millennials.
Oh, bro, you're Gen Z? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, man. I think, oh shit, you're Gen Z. Okay. So you're younger than I am, but talk to me about. I mean, the discrepancy is not that too far off, but talk to me about like about I know you're leading a team now, and I know you have I know you have your own business and you're leading an actual team, right? To kind of ride with you to success. And talk to me about the struggles that you see with a lot of millennials and Gen Z that's going through right now with the whole motion of the COVID-19 and skipping education, skipping college to become an entrepreneur. I mean, what patterns do you see that kind of that maybe other generations that are not in the Gen Z or millennials don't see with us?
Well, if we're honest, Charles, I think a lot of us are following a broken system. that was an industrial age type of a system that worked maybe for our grandparents. But let's be real, if we look at history, not a lot of people are following that same system. Get an education, work for a company for 40 years, and all of a sudden, company takes care of you, right? They give you your pension, all that good stuff. A lot of that is not really taking place anymore. So when you talk about your millennials and your Gen Z, a lot of us are going to school. We're spending a lot of money. We're getting into lots of debt that we cannot, declare bankruptcy against, if I'm correct,
Mhm.
right? We're getting into lots of debt and we cannot pay that debt back for years and years in life. But I think the biggest issue with that is we're not getting jobs. we're not we're not using our degree. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they want to, live the American dream with that white picket fence. They want to follow that system, but honestly, they're following a system that didn't even work for the people telling them to follow the system. So as far as this COVID-19 situation, I think it's been a wake-up call, if anything, to tell us, hey, listen, like, all of the certainty that you thought that you had in working a job is not necessarily certainty. All of the, promises that were made to you about having security, well, maybe guess what? You're not as secure as you thought that you were. And so I think more than ever now, people are looking towards entrepreneurship. People are looking towards online streams of income, to try to supplement what they're losing in their jobs.
I agree with that 100%. There was actually a statistics that came out. This was about 2 years ago, and it says that only 30%, at least 30 to 32% who actually graduated with a degree actually ended up doing a career with that degree. Right? I mean, imagine like over 70% of the people actually finishes a degree but never even get that type of career what they work so hard for. But talk to me about this, bro. Like you touched a little bit about freedom, and I hope you don't mind me asking about this whole thing, because I know you went through a personal experience with this. But when we talk about freedom and equality and justice and all these stuff with the BLM movement and all that things, I know you had an experience for yourself recently, the last few weeks, and I would like if you, and I know you're a very courageous person, and I know you're very honest with all these things, and I want to ask you about that experience, bro. Do you mind sharing that a little bit with the people?
Yeah, man. So, just to keep it, to the point, basically what happened, I'm somebody who believes success is something that relates to me, right? But my significance and purpose has way more to do with other people. And so obviously, that being said, I'm not somebody who wants to have success and then doesn't impact anybody else's life. So, I actually have a mentorship group where I do mentor and coach masses of people around the world internationally, but I do have a specific group that is growing that I'm focused with right now in Sacramento. And so for my Sacramento group, right, for the students that are in Sacramento, we ended up going to some of the more luxurious neighborhoods in Northern California. And the reason why, man, is because I believe in visualization. If you're an entrepreneur, you know all about the law of attraction, you know about manifestation, and what you see. When you can see something in your mind, you can actually hold it in your hand.
Right,
And so
right.
you see what I'm saying? So what did we do? We went to tour some of the luxurious neighborhoods. We're dream building, and we're going through the streets. And it was a great experience while it was happening. But see, then we leave the situation, we go home back to our families, and what happens is rumors began to circulate on social media. These rumors were pictures of us. They were posts on social media saying that we were rioters. It said, "Watch out! The looters have come,
Right.
the protesters have come," accusing us of all of these different things. And I mean, let's be honest. You had a group of some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, focused on some of the most positive things you can ever think of. We were not aggressive. We were not, loud. We were nothing but, honestly, yes, a group of my team, probably the majority in Sacramento, is minorities. See what I'm saying? And so, it really became an issue, Charles, not that they were taking pictures and putting those up. It was what the pictures had attached to them.
Right.
And some of the comments said things like, "Oh my gosh, the rioters and looters are here. This is not a game. Where are my Second Amendment peeps at?" And so those of you who don't understand what that is, the Second Amendment refers to the right to bear arms.
Right.
And I've heard so many different stories, man, now from people saying, "Oh my gosh, so I saw this and I thought it was real, and I feel so ashamed. I was so scared." And the issue is, man, yes, nothing happened that day. Glory be to God. Thank you, God, for that. But see, now wait a minute. What if something did happen?
That's
Right?
correct.
You have Ahmaud Arbery, the young man who was gunned down in the street, right?
Mhm.
And they followed him to do a quote unquote citizen's arrest. That is an example of people acting in fear and ignorance, taking it upon themselves, so to speak, to go ahead and neutralize the threat, to go ahead and get rid of the threat. Well, what if that had happened in Sacramento, California? What if
Mhm.
that had happened as a result of those posts for the person that said, "This is not a game. These rioters and looters are here"? You see what I'm saying? So that's where the issue, sort of came into play. And to make things clear, Charles, I'm not saying there's no reason they couldn't have asked a question. I'm not saying there's no reason to say, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on?" But where did we lose the art of conversation? Right. And that ignorance, that lack of consideration could have been the reason why someone got seriously hurt. And what did you use? What information did you use to come to the deduction, to the conclusion that we were rioters and looters? Could it have possibly had anything to do with racial profiling, guilty
Right.
of nothing but being black? You see what
Right.
I'm saying? So that's really what happened, man.
That is insane for me because like I don't know anyone like personally that kind of have been affected to this until you shared that story in your social media and Instagram, and I was like, I never thought this would actually be something happening in my circle of friends, right? And that happened to you personally, and that happened with your group. I mean, I feel like you handled it really well, but a lot of people, if it wasn't you, right, in that situation, they could have took it a whole new level. And talk to me, and I hope you really don't mind me kind of expanding on this because I really want to send a message to the people when it comes to this whole issue. Is that what is your stance with this whole thing when it comes to the BLM movement and then the looters taking advantage of the movement and destroying and making a ruckus instead of and their justification is they're not going to listen to us by protesting, so we might as well make a mess. What's your outlook in this whole thing?
Well, I tell you what, man, I stand with Martin Luther King. He says, hate cannot drive out more hate. Only love can do that. That's the first thing I want to say. So I'm a huge believer in that, destruction and senseless violence is not the answer. You see what I'm saying? I don't believe that is the answer. I don't believe that is the way. I do understand the frustration that is so, obviously real in America today, because there is a real issue. Being black in America, is not equality. It means to fight oppression. It means to fight a perception of what people think that we already are. It means to fight, out of a box of what we're supposed to become. Who we are as people. People have this idea, and it's a stigma that is it's not fair. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's Black Lives Matter. No one said all lives didn't matter. It's
Right.
just all lives can't matter until Black ones do as well. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people misunderstand that message. But the problem in America today is very, very real. It is not equal, and it's something that I believe we need to continue to spread awareness about. As far as my stance, I believe people need to reach inside of themselves and reach for understanding. I believe people need to educate themselves. I believe a lot of the time it's not even everybody who's just blatantly racist or evil. It is oftentimes some of us who don't understand that we're going based upon something we've seen in a movie. You see what I'm saying? We're
That's right.
we're we're, we're going based upon some deep seated, deep rooted beliefs that have been passed down through the generations. We need to take accountability for our perception, because the laziness, the lack of consideration is oftentimes the reason why people are being treated unfairly, why people are being, uh, honestly, the victim of racism. That's really my stance.
That's a freaking powerful point, brother. I mean, I may not be an African American, right? But I am still part of the minority, and that's why a lot of people who are of color, like myself, can stand alongside comfortably with the BLM movement, because I feel like it's really represent not just the African American community, but it really represents minority in general. And I feel like that is a very big point that you pointed out, is the lack of education, a lack of understanding, because everything that we see is really fornicated from what the media wants us to see. right? And that's a really great point. And so with this whole thing, I want to ask you this personally: has before that actual incident, you know, has this been a part of your life since you were young? That like this feeling like you're always gonna get in trouble because of your skin color, with maybe the law enforcement or anything like that. Like people perceive you just because of what you look like.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's not new to us as being Black in America. This is not something that is all of a sudden just real. No, no, no. It's been real the entire time. We just have social media now to cover it. So being a Black man in America, especially, yeah, man, it's something I've always had to deal with. You know, you see it. It's like the other night I saw a police officer on the way home. It's not even just that particular night. It was that night for sure, because it was about 3 a.m. But I'm like, oh my God, I pray to God that I do not get pulled over. I do not want to get pulled over.
Wow.
You know, something very, very bad could happen. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. And of course, Charles, it's like, you know,
Wow.
yes, there's a need for police, but, you know, I really think back to that and I was like, I wasn't even doing anything wrong. You know, I literally was doing nothing wrong at all, but it is that fear based upon things that I've seen, based upon things that I've experienced, based upon growing up in school, you know, kind of some of the slurs that are made, some of the jokes that are made. You know, you're always targeted. You don't always fit into the group. You see what I'm saying? Because of your skin color, people already think, like I said, that you're supposed to be some kind of person. They already have an idea. They already have you know, a
Except,
thought. Exactly. You see what I'm saying about who you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to become, what's Black and what's not Black. You see what I'm saying? In this standard, in this stigma is being created. It's ridiculous. But yeah, man, that's been my experience growing up. You know, but I'm not surprised by it. Like even when a situation happened in El Dorado, El Dorado Hills, thing, you know, I was not surprised by it at all because it's just something that I've been dealing with. Um, Social media is just finally beginning to shine a light on it, I believe.
oh, I can see that difference for sure. Like I feel like social media has really been a great platform for people to really raise their voice and their concerns and the truth, right? And situations like what happened to yours really shines the light even a lot brighter to what the truth of the people are really going through. Like I said, like I never thought one of my actual friends would actually go through something like that until you posted it on social media. And I thought that was such a powerful statement. Now let's get away from that all talks and let's kind of segue into the last word that I kind of said, which is the social media platform, right? And I wanted to talk to you about this because I've really been personally been impressed with the amount of growth and the amount of influence that you can provide for your audience in social media. And if by the way, guys, if you guys don't know, what was your social media account, bro? In
That's
Instagram?
that's Malachi J Turner. So it's spelled the same way on pretty much every platform. It's
Okay.
M like mom, A like apple, L like Harry, A like apple. You know I gotta spell it out.
Right.
Okay, CHI Malachi, the letter J Turner. You know, and that's on Instagram. That's on. I don't use it a lot, but Twitter. You know, that's everywhere. LinkedIn, Facebook, pretty much every platform.
Right. So the Malachi J Turner. Keep it simple, bro. Right. And I love that. That's why people can find you easier. But man, I've seen your following really go from, I think the first time I met you was, I don't even know how many people you had, like probably already thousands, but not 20. You know what I mean? Like, I know from here on out, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. But talk to me about the social media, the social media realm, right? Because a lot of people believe social media can destroy a lot of lives, and you see how NBA players really go against the media and stuff like that. But talk about the positive things that social media has created for you in your personal life, how you've maybe connect with some of the realest people you've ever met, and maybe build some relationship with those type of people. So talk to me about about that.
Social media, man, is one of those things. It's like money. It does not make you a bad person. It only makes you more of the person that you were before you actually got it. You see what
Mm,
I'm saying? It just
mm,
shines a light on who you truly are. So I believe it's all about intention. It's one of those things. It's like social media. A lot of people would tell me, "Oh my gosh, you know, social media is terrible. It's a waste of time. It's a distraction." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you are very misinformed, and honestly, very behind. It's almost frightening. The fact that you don't know what's going on social media. You know, we've built, you know, serious business on social media. So even if just not for business, it's a way to have a message. It's a way to have a voice. I know personally, Charles, I can't be in a million places at once, but I can be on social media having people from a million places watching at once. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So, it's a way where you can have a positive message and impact. People can follow you and keep up with you. I definitely recommend having a social media, man. Like even right now, hey, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't have such a light being shined on the Black Lives Matter movement. We wouldn't have such a light being shined on, COVID-19 and the realities of what's going on today. I think it's incredible, man. I've had a chance to the business that I built, man, which is literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people now all across the globe, has heavily been started on social media. Some of, the top earners in my organization and things like that, in my team and stuff like that, they've come from social media. Like it's crazy. I'll meet some of my team members sometimes at events and stuff like that, and I'll felt like I've known them for years, and I'm like, wait a minute, we met on social media. You see what I'm saying? But it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for these Instagrams, these Facebooks, and these different platforms. So yeah, man, I think it's a way to have a message, even if you don't run a business.
That's right. And talk to me about like how much time do you actually put in to create content and and deliver a message on social media? What's the strategy behind that? Like, do you plan these things out? Do you just go by what you feel? I mean, what is it?
Gary Vee says something I love: document, don't create. Right? Document, don't
Mhm.
create. So rather than fix your brain on how much you were going to have the perfect caption, have the perfect content, just document the journey. It's one of those things, if we can't trace you, we can't trust you. You see what I'm saying? So stop. I believe a lot of us are trying to, portray a certain image that's perfect. I don't think that's the best way to go about it. Then the best way to go about it is just to show your real life, just to show the reality. Now, that's not to say just post anything and everything, but it is to say make a decision, decide what kind of brand you want. When you talk about a brand, that's just asking yourself, what do people say about you when you're not in the room?
Mm,
What do people say about you when you're not in the room? So whatever that brand is that you desire, focus on that. Hey, and stop posting yourself maybe partying every single weekend, right? Maybe don't post yourself doing some of the things that you don't want to be a part of your brand, right? But then focus on the brand that you want to create and develop. And as far as the time that you want to put into it, that's really up to you, man. I would be lying to you if I said I was a social media guru, who just sat there and really knew all the intricate details of, how to have the perfect grid and things like that. You can do that.
right.
Um, I think people resonate with real though. Just be yourself,
That's right.
be real, put
That's right.
out value, and people will be attracted to that.
And I love that because I feel like you really created a brand of someone that's very real and someone that's very authentic and raw. And that's why people just fell in love into at least pressing the button of follow on social media, right? Because they've really they've come into a liking of who you are and your personality. So talk to me about this branding things, because I know we have a lot of people in social media who are millennials and Gen Z that wants to be someone that's known for a brand or wants to be someone that could be a part of an influence. But let me ask you this. What would you say to some people that are so concerned with what other people will think of them, especially the people who are close to them, right? Like if you start breaking up, because I'm asking this to you because I know you had personal experience where you finally did something and your closest friends was like, what the hell you doing, bro? Because I've had that personally, right? And everyone has different advices and stories, and talk to me about that, because I know a lot of millennials and Gen Z wants to break that mold and make their own path, but they're being pulled back by the people that they love or respect, because of they're so afraid of losing and changing them, right?
You know, haters is what we're talking about, right? And
That's
at
right.
the end of the day, at the end of the day, man, if you ain't got no haters, you're not doing anything right. If you do have haters, you're doing something right. So I do believe in you're gonna have that backlash in the beginning. You will suffer the loss of social esteem from ignorant people in the beginning. And
Right.
sometimes it's the people we love the most. Sometimes it's the people that we care about the most that are giving us that backlash, that are those naysayers in the beginning.
Right.
But
Right.
I think it's important for everybody to, maybe write this down.
All
Stop
right.
taking stop taking constructive criticism from people who have not constructed the lifestyle that you desire.
Jesus.
It's funny. You got Justin Bieber. Would you ask Justin Bieber, how to cook in the kitchen? No. You ask Justin Bieber how to sing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Would you ask, DJ Khaled, how to lose weight?
Right.
And I don't know how he's doing on his weight loss journey. I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't.
Yeah,
But my
I
point is,
get what you're saying.
much love. If DJ Khaled, if you see this, man, I love you. But okay, the purpose is, man, take constructive criticism from people who have constructed the lifestyle that you desire.
Right.
So don't focus on what people are saying about you. I just released a video on my story, and my true life story. And with that story, look, man, I show people the reality of what people are saying about. I don't think just go watch that story and pause at where I'm showing what people were saying. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if you quit, if you stop, guess what? All of the things that they said were probably right. Right? If you quit, if you stop, and they told you were never going to be anything, they told you that you were never going to succeed, guess what? They were right. If your parents were telling you, oh my gosh, you're running yourself into the ground, you're doing too much, stop doing this entrepreneurship stuff, stop, trying to create this brand and be this influencer, go to school and get a good job and stop messing around with that, thing, and you quit, they were right.
Yep.
You spend a year of your life, 6 months of your life doing something like that, and you don't actually get anything from it. You did waste your time, and they were right. Right. So it's all about, being persistent and understanding that the only way you fail truly is if you quit. Don't quit.
Yeah. That's a great fucking advice. Yeah, I'll never take gym advice from DJ Khaled whatsoever, bro. Trust me for that.
I don't know what it looks like today. I think he's been trying, but I don't know.
But I get what you're saying though, because that's true. Like until the day I quit, that's when I know that the haters are right about who I am, what I do, right? And I think that's a really great and relevant advice for a lot of people that are starting their entrepreneurship journey, because entrepreneurship is just breaking the molds of what you can be, right? And it's a journey of you starting over with taking full control of who you want to be. And so talk to me, we're going to finish up this conversation in a few minutes, but talk to me about like, what's the goal? What's the vision for you in the next 5-10 years? Where do you see yourself, your team, how empire are you thinking about, bro?
Oh man, massive. You talk about 5 to 10 years, man. I'm talking about, boy, that is what that's a long-term goal. 5 to 10 years, man, I plan to be in a place right now that is like completely unimaginable and unrecognizable to where I am today. Just by the end of this year, man, my goal is Route 100 is what we call it. But that's to help 100 people earn a part-time income, 20 people develop and earn a full-time income, 10 people become 6-figure earners and above by the end of just this year. You see what I'm saying? So by the end of 5 to 10 years, man, my goal is freedom in every sense of the word. Not just for me. I'm not talking about me at this point. I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about several hundreds and thousands of other people's lives, other families' lives that have been impacted to where they can wake up when they're done sleeping. They don't have to work a job. They can drive the car that they desire, not the car that's economical. You see what I'm saying? That they can go out there and, experience life the way that only 1% of people can actually experience life. It's my parents being 100% retired. They don't have to work unless they want to work. Right. It's allowing them to drive the cars that they want to drive. Is when I'm pulling up at Roost Chris, my family's coming with me. You see what I'm saying? My friends are coming with me. They wear the watches that they desire, all that kind of stuff. And above anything, because I don't want to leave off, people thinking it's about material. It's not about material. It's about choices.
Right.
So it's really being able to give when it's on my heart to give at the highest scale, at the highest level. That's a whole other training. That's a whole other subject of people thinking money is bad, and allow people to make them feel bad for getting rich. It's ridiculous. But, having all of the resources necessary, man, to impact the lives of people spiritually, financially, mentally, emotionally, physically.
That's freaking amazing, brother. I mean, I feel like that's everyone wants to achieve that in their own desire, but we all paint our own successes differently. And so the last few questions I wanted to ask you is this, bro. You talked about the highest of the high for the next 5 to 10 years that you envision for yourself, but talk to me about something more relatable that I feel like you can relate to is fears. Talk to me about some of the fears that you have. I mean, here's an interesting question that I've been hearing for the last 8 years that I've been in business, which is, which one do you fear more? Is it fear of success or fear of failure?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful question, dude. For me, I'm just being honest. I don't know how to do anything other than keep it real. It's a fear of failure, man. I don't want to. No, no, bro. Like, no. Looking back, 80 years old, 90 years old. With regrets. I mean, that's just a no. You just know, like, I can't do that. It's just no. Like, even when you said that, I'm like, no, that's not an option. Come hell or high water, man. I will not fail. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? That's my driver in my head. That I cannot fail. Failure is not an option, and success is by any means necessary. You see what I'm saying? To go through life and knowing that certain things were not accomplished. I think that's the biggest fear, man. And I think that should drive everybody. Oftentimes we're driven by you know, possibility of gain and the fear of loss.
Hmm.
We're inspired through situations of inspiration and situations of desperation. And for me, I definitely want to say I feel like the graveyard is one of the richest places in the world, and that is where all of the unwritten books are, all of the unsung songs are, all of the inventions that were never invented. They lie in the graveyard. And so, that's my biggest fear, man, is when God introduces me to the person that I could have been, that is an exact replica of who I actually became.
Wow. Wow. That's freaking powerful, brother. I mean, I feel like I related to every single word that you said, bro. And the grave is undoubtedly the richest place on earth. And I can't remember the last time I visited the grave, but I felt mystique over there. I felt like I was a part of some sort of history that was never written, right? And so with this fear, bro, what do you say about the people that says, "Well, I don't have fears. I'm just really comfortable." How do
Uh,
you feel about that? Because I know you've met a few people in your
oh,
life where they
oh,
say they're so comfortable, they're so satisfied, and it's like you want to bring out the best of them, but it's like, yo, like I believe you, you're all comfortable, but I don't know how that speaks to you, but talk to me about that.
Either one, they're lying to themselves, or two, they're selfish.
That's a
Number
great.
one, they're lying to themselves, and number two, you're selfish, right? Because here's the thing, man. Oftentimes when we're younger, let's be real, we dream, right? We dream big. We want to be an astronaut. We want to run for president. We want to change the world when we're young. We
Mm-hmm.
get older, and what happens, man, as a result of what society tells us about ourselves, we begin to shrink our dreams to match our income.
Yep, yep.
I am an advocate that we increase our income to match our dreams. So
Mm.
now all of a sudden you turn 18, you become an adult, whatever it is, you start telling people not what you want, but wait a minute, what you can afford. You see
Ooh.
what I'm saying? And I believe that's what a lot of people are doing. That would result in you kind of lying to yourself. If you're not lying to yourself and you're in fact comfortable, hold on, wait a minute. What about the people that are depending on you? How many people, if you don't go out there and achieve your dreams, how many people, if you don't go out there and, become an example of what you can be, how many people's lives then won't be impacted? Somebody, I would implore you to know that they need your story. They need your testimony. Sometimes we go through in order to show people that we can actually get through, right? We go through so that we can show other people that they can get through. You see what I'm saying? And so I believe, number one, you're lying to yourself about what you truly want because you don't believe it's possible. That is a lot of people in the world today. Or you're only thinking about yourself.
Damn, that's a really great answer, bro. Completely forgot about that line. Like, match your income to your dreams. I forgot about that line. Thank you for bringing that up to me, bro. That is a great line that I've missed out in the last 4.5 years. But yes, yours. That's so true. We all have to realize that people are depending on us, and if we don't give them that opportunity for them to be able to provide for themselves and set themselves for the next generations, it's like all of a sudden we are coming to terms that we are selfish person, right? That's a really great one. And this is the last topic that we're going to talk about today. It's about leadership, right? And I know you're in a position of leadership right now. I know you're in a position of having team members follow you and be under your wing of leadership and inspiration. So talk to me about like what's the biggest struggle of being a leader?
Biggest struggle of being a leader, man, is it's a constant, it's a battle. It's not easy. If It's funny, I think people should write this down if they're serious about leadership. If you want everybody to like you, go sell ice cream. Don't be a leader. If you want everybody to like you, man, go sell ice cream. Do not be a leader. Leader, to be a leader, it means to show up early, to show up first, and to leave last. to be a leader, means to really sacrifice, to give up in order to go up, right? To not be selfish in that you're trying to get yourself across the finish line, but you're thinking about, wait a minute, there's no I in team. Team just stands for together, everyone achieves more. And so I think that's incredibly important, that people understand being a leader is all about sacrifice. It's one of those things, is not going to be easy, but I do believe it is worth it. You see what I'm saying? In the beginning, it kind of means to be last. It means that people are going to gossip about you. It means that people are going to spread rumors and lies about you. It means people are going to stab you in the back and turn on you. Oh my God, this is the realness. Look, come on, Charles. I'm going to be real on today. I'm not trying to scare them. I'm trying to prepare them.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the truth about leadership. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I believe every willing leader who does not quit and does not give up will turn back and say it was all worth it. And see, now you've not become successful, you've become significant, and you have impacted the lives of other people. And I think, contribution into the lives of others is one of the best things we can do as humans on this earth. Right, service is the rent that we pay for the space we take up here on earth.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a powerful quote, brother. Oh, that's a good one. Say that shit again. Okay, hold on. Let me write that shit down. What was it?
And service is the rent we pay for the space we take up on earth.
Oh shit! Is the rent we pay on the space? Okay. Damn. Okay. And the last question about leadership is this, bro. Last question about leadership is this. When you become a leader, right? How do you sustain it? Where does the energy for you to keep sustaining to be a leader for years to come, for generations to come? Where does it come from?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question, man. And here's the thing. When you talk about being a leader, you are oftentimes pouring out your energy, your reservoir. You are pouring into other people. But I would advise people to understand, every leader watching this, you cannot pour into the cup of others unless you first pour into the cup of yourself. You see what I'm saying? Leader of one can become the leader of many, but if I cannot lead myself, I cannot lead any. So every single day is getting up in the morning knowing I must feed my own spirit. We call this soul. What is this called, man?
Soul speaks.
Soul speaks, right? Soul stretches. I think I saw that somewhere.
That's my blog. This mini series is called Soul Speaks.
Soul speaks. Right? It is important to keep pouring into your own spirit, your own soul, before you go out there and try to do the same thing to others. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have any value to offer, right, you don't actually offer any value as a leader. And so as your value increases, so does your level of leadership. As your value increases, so does, guess what? Your income, right? The more valuable that you become, the more that, you will actually earn. And so I believe, part of keeping yourself equipped and ready to lead over an extended period of time is really developing yourself each and every single day, stretching yourself, and really making the decision and commitment to further yourself and better yourself to be the leader you need to be for other people.
Jesus Christ, that was fucking genius. I love this conversation, my brother. I appreciate every fucking nuggets and wisdom and everything that you've thrown us with the audience, and even for me personally, like you've shared with me so much quotes. By the way, I don't know if you knew, but I was taking notes over here. But you've shared so many wisdom to me, bro. You've enabled me to grow today, and I thank you for that. And I'm really grateful for that. And I hope the audience learned a lot from you as well. And with closing remarks, bro, go ahead and share. Is there anything that you want to share with the people? Last closing remarks, last message for our entrepreneurs, our millennials, our Gen Z, or anyone in the audience that are going through this entrepreneurship journey?
I'm one of those people, man. I'll close with this. I tell people, just because you do not take my road does not mean that you got lost. So it doesn't matter what it is that you choose to do, but I highly recommend that you make a decision to participate in your own rescue. Participate in your own rescue. So ask yourself, if I keep doing what I'm doing for the next 2 to 5 years of my life, will I truly end up with the lifestyle that I desire? will I truly end up where it is that I desire? If the answer is no, you need to do something different. Because to do something different over and over and over again with the expectation of a different result, we all know that's the definition of what? Insanity. See what I'm saying? And so if you want change, you have to be the change, right? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So make that decision today. Become, a fighter for your own freedom, right? And make a decision that you're going to go out there and not settle for less, that you'll go out there and get the best that life has to offer, however it has to come.
Damn. Brother, thank you so much for that, bro. This has been a phenomenal live call and probably one of my favorites out of the 4 episodes I've done so far. You have been undoubtedly the winner when it comes to pouring out quotes after quotes after quotes. A wise man once said, a man that lives his life with quotes is a wise man, right? And so, bro, I thank you for this. By the way, guys, for all the audience that we have live or watching this on a replay mode, Malachi is going to be our Young Entrepreneur Society guest speaker as well this coming Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we're so thrilled to have him. And if this was a question and answer portion interview, I can only imagine when he can actually control what the narrative will be about for the next 45 minutes on the Yes Call this coming Friday. I'm excited for that one, guys. And Malachi, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Man, the pleasure is all mine, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro. And guys, give Malachi a love, follow on Instagram, social media, on Facebook at Malachi J. Turner. I got that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Malachi J. Turner.
I love it, bro. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being in our live call today, Malachi. I hope you have a phenomenal day, and I appreciate y'all. Look out for episode 5 that's going to come in the next 2 weeks. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Charles Cinco, it's been a pleasure.